going to be the biggest task. But we're about to find out as we go on into Hell's Heaven. Of course it is, buddy. We are back on the mic together. It is Menace. It's Hell's Heaven. It's got to be.
It's just fate. But notably, I'm intrigued to see what we get started with. Are we going to see the traditional? Are we not going to have a true ban phase until the second half of the pick and bans? It is certainly going to look to start that way, Tano, as it is a double Mantis ban. Let me guess. Let me open up my third eye, read all 14 billion possibilities. Magneto into Gambit, into Magneto, into Gambit.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's got to be, hasn't it, right? I think Gambit ban here, Magneto save, same on the other side. It's really until we get further down these picks and bans where we start to see things take shape. What I want to see is people putting more importance on this Elsa. I think right now Elsa is probably the best duelist currently in this game. People continue to let Elsa through. It continues to be an issue, and they're not considering that they need to make people go onto these other duelists. The other one being Winter Soldier here, Soren, that we continue to see dominate whenever it is on the field. Loki ban here by Triple T. We're going to continue to see plenty of those as well.
I missed the one eventuality of the possible Loki third ban. I could be still proven right with a Gambit ban later on, but it actually looks like that's not going to be the case. Triple T letting Gambit through to this last Protect Menace could go for it, and I feel like they kind of be fools not to if it's available, especially if you have that Magneto. That team up incredibly strong and does open up a lot of possibilities. That does risk possibly losing your preferred DPS, but I don't think Menace are going to disagree with that all that much. But I would not be surprised if this ends up being an Elsa or a Black Widow. Again, it always feels like you have to have one of them with a Bucky available in your back pocket, but instead it looks like it might be Thing. I could see this being the case if they want to go for a dive composition or a hybrid. But no, last minute Groot. Nope, never mind. They're faking me out, Tano. It is going to be a thing.
I'm kind of surprised at the Thing ban out by both of these teams here, especially considering how much Black Widow has been used in this season, mate. Typically one of the easiest duelists to use to rip down the Thing, but I guess they feel like causing too many problems and they don't want to have to rotate just for one hero for that. We're going to have a Hood Protect here on the side of Triple T. We haven't seen much Hood, and I've been eager to get on cast for me to talk about it, buddy, because as we saw in a previous set, people were just running it with no shield tank whatsoever. It was literally just 2 dive vanguards, and it was not working. The Hood is very capable in these games, works extremely good as that kind of dive potential alongside the likes of Magneto. So I kind of want to see that here in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Any Vanguard that I think gives him a little bit of extra protection. I also think personally a Groot would be a really good answer to pair him with, just because of that shield or his ability to shield to block a lot of incoming damage goes a long way. No Mantis ban means that even with the Loki and the Groot, there's not going to be that beautiful triple team up. But I imagine even still, Triple T probably don't want to go that team up anyway, seeing as the bubble from the Jeff team up is super, super strong. But I'm intrigued to see that group come through. Again, we are in a double hit scan meta, and sure, Punisher is viable, not always used. It can still be super heavily punished. You can burn through those walls, especially if you have like a Bucky and an Elsa.
Yeah, and they're typically the duelists that teams are relying on at the moment. What we do know from previous games is that Triple T, they love to come out on domination, extremely aggressive straight out of the gates. It's typically where they are at their best. On the side of Menace, they really like to protect the double Royal Flush whenever they can, but I noted that it was an Adam ban that came their way this time, so they're going to have to stick with the single, though very happy with it. Sinful already coming out of the gates, looking to see if they can find any route around for this dive.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do, like you said, have that dive coming through. Sanctimoto on the Rogue. We've been seeing more and more of Rogue, especially after some recent buffs. They saw the people, in the crowd of mid-season finals calling for them to give Rogue their health back. They oblige, and that's what I mean. That's the damage that this Black Cat can do when given a little bit of reinforcement. Let one person do the damage, and suddenly Black Cat is just able to rip apart the traps that are left.
This works extremely well together. They just pair up, and there's not a lot that can survive the damage that they bring out. You're absolutely right on that one, Sorin and Menace are going to be the ones that shut down the approach that Triple T had to begin with. And now we're going to look for a little bit of rotation here from them as they try and see if they can get themselves back in these positions. Sinful and Saint Amoto already looking to go hunted. Has found the Elsa in the process. Doesn't find anything, though, at least on the side of Aliref. They're going to have to back up now, regroup with the rest of the team. Menace are very comfortable at being able to hold these choke points and go for the defense. This sword on the side of Magneto manages to just find Albion. Wasn't going to get anything out of that, but that is going to be huge as we put the bubble on the side of Magneto as well. Aliref is going to find Hex, looking to go on the back and find Sinful. Backs on up, and that's a cleanup from PC Sacred. Triple T flip this on its head.
Yeah, just a little bit of hesitation from Albion, or excuse me, from Razak means Albion goes down. And that is going to be the death nail for that fight for Menace. They're going to have to fully reset. We do have a dive back and forth here. PC Sacred is on the Daredevil. I say that as PC Sacred actually gets broken away. They're going to be the first one to pull up. A lot of damage now missing for Triple T. However, they do find one in response, but this Razor Royal Flush might be the big difference maker. It's the go button that's going to force out a lot of utility, including the invisible barrier.
Here comes that Apex Predator as well, as Eli is making a difference, but not just yet. Sinful shuts that down. Back to the spawn room, my guy. Hex looks for the double as well, as Menace managed to survive that at the moment and clean up the entirety of Triple T. They managed to pull out the invisible boundaries from Alix as well. Tim does have that God of Mischief, but this is a good position for Menace to now have themselves back in. The cap is on their side. Razak nearly ready, or is ready rather, with that Fate of both worlds. Gonna have to try and hold it as long as they can while Albion builds up that ult.
Two boxers dancing in the ring, just trading blow after blow. Neither side quite getting a full lead yet, as Eli is able to find the first pick. It's immediately countered out, and right now it's 2 for 2 overall. Both teams losing members quickly, but Albion on the gambit's able to be a big difference maker. We do see that push continue now. Captain Soto is trading blows with a Magneto on point. It's a Mag v Mag brawl, but Silent doesn't have the cooldowns and does not have the health, and now it is just Sinful, desperate to try to keep the point alive, and is going to be able to do so.
Yeah, that's really good effort as well, coming back in from Hex and Sinful, because that was Captain Soda 1v1 me on Rust, bro. Manages to come out on top, and if it wasn't for this backup dive from Sinful, it would have made a huge difference. But now we've got plenty of ultimates ready to go on the side of Triple T, just the 2 on the side of Menace to hold off on this. If I was Triple T, I'd go big time, but Eli going down from Razak is going to be a huge difference maker. Silent now trying to see if they can get on the point and find a good pick onto PC Sacred. Razak is able to find it. That makes a difference, though, because the cap comes through. Menace really able to capture that quickly off Triple T.
Yeah, Menace, it was back and forth to around 50% when both teams had it, and then Menace, they just kept the ball rolling. Massive shout out to Sinful, by the way. During that Mag 1v1 brawl, the rollout came through, and if Sinful does not touch in time, that point gets converted. But not only do they touch, they're able to find a pick onto the weakened Mag, as both teams lost so many members, including healers, that there was no healing to be done. And that one decision-making play, that one, albeit very risky play, because it could have staggered them even more, because it comes up their end, that keeps them in it, that prevents the swap from happening, and that is the snowball that gets started down the hill that leads them into that map 1 win.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Coming out of the gates here, buddy, I will see Sinful go for that flank once again. Still plenty of ultimates ready to go on the side of Triple T. They have all the advantage here. Momentum is entirely on their side. Hex not too far off that Apex Predator. We'll see how many resources they want to use on the side of Triple T to ensure this lock-in.
We see a little bit of a dive duel here as the Black Cat and the Daredevil size each other up. I guess as best as Daredevil can do, seeing as he is blind, but so at least just aura farming on each other up on the top side as you see the full brawl break out. Meteor M going to be invested, but just not going to quite land. But Captain Soto's on the other side of the point absolutely will. A double slam into the back line. And that is going to be a big sweep for Triple T. Everyone from Menace is set back to the spawn room.
That's an easy 3-pointer for Captain Soto. Right now, PC Sacred, TTV Yeek have their ults ready to go. Alex isn't far off that invisible boundary either, so still advantage Triple T as they're going to hold this corner here. Hex just trying to throw a little bit of damage down this line of sight at the moment. Just straight into the Vanguards it goes, though, as they're very happy to absorb all this. Allow Tim to get those heals and get that ultimate ready to go once again. Having to rip down the walls here and Menace, and there's going to be an approach coming out from PC Sacred. Let the devil loose, he says, and he at least manages to pull out the fate of both words from Razzie. Yes, you don't get a KO there, Soren, but you pull out a massive ultimate on the side of Menace, and you want to take this advantage. Apex Predator comes in, walled off, though, by the likes of Ying. Alex has to pull out the invisible boundary here. Elev, in return, does the same and cleans up Menace. Brilliant plays by Triple T.
You can feel that potential starting to come alive here for Triple T as they are now showing some incredible signs of life in game number 2. It was a brawl on point 1. Here they have the dominant lead, 60-0, as Menace are going to start to roll out. We have a super high line by Triple T, just trying to deny as much space as possible. That's not too surprising. They are a little bit low on ultimate, so they want to take those fights aggressively and early to try to get as much time to build up before this retake, but this is going to be the calling card used to start the fight.
Oh, it is indeed. Pairing that with the Royal Flush as well as Sinful goes hunting, finds the triple. Oh, baby, it's a quadra as they clean up Triple T. And that is just brilliant. 2 ultimates used, an entire team wiped off that objective. But you have to hold this for a long time, buddy. Triple T managed to get 84% on that clock. They've got plenty of time to be able to get this back.
Yeah, they do have so much time available to them. They need to go through and find an opportunity to close this map out, though. I mean, Triple T, they've done so well, but what we even spoke about was the fact that they do tend to fall a little bit short in these critical moments where they need to close out the map. They've struggled. A map win here, a sub-map win to take us to 3 would be a great sign for how this series could play out.
Looking for the copy here on the side of Tim, just waiting to see what they want to go for. Soto's ready with their own meatball as well. Going to throw out the invisible boundary. Look for the meatball. Is Captain Soto finds Razik, and that is a huge difference maker here. Soren Hex is the only one up with an ultimate ready to go on the side of Menace. They wait to regroup, but they're all lined up perfectly there. Going to prop the Apex Predator. Good shielding comes through from Magneto, though. Not able to find anything just yet. Sinful does go down. Looking for more, but the ruins are put in place by Loki, and Menace can't do enough at that moment. They've managed to hold the pad. Silent back with a portal play, but they are just getting ripped at this instant. Sinful is at least making them having to look at that backline as well, trying to see if they can find a pick onto the side of Loki, knowing that's the number 1 target. Hasn't found it just yet as they're able to just escape in the final moments, but Tim falls as Sinful looks to lock in this backline by themselves. Is it going to be enough, though? I don't think so. Triple T have managed to hold this cap back to themselves.
They tried to focus down the Loki because I know the Loki runes are done and dusted, but unfortunately Sinful's just not able to find the combo that works. So at 95% completion, Triple T just have to hold the line if they can prevent them from touching, but no, Silent on the Angela is going to do just enough to push through overtime, but PC Sacred finds the Angela before it gets traded out. Invisible barrier, but that Glartrox might just be a death knell. Venom has to pop to E to stay alive, but their teammates are falling all around them.
Sinful can't do much more as they're sent back to the spawn room. Hex blinks at the objective and gets sent themselves. Triple T are gonna take this sub-map frozen airfield. We are going to Super Soldier Factory, my guy.
This is what we needed to see from them. We needed to see the lock-in, the ability to close out a tough map. They were put onto the back foot towards the end there, but they close it out, and now this game is back into their hands. The series is back into their hands. They are going to be coming in with 2 ultimates as well, which means Menace are going to be on the back foot to start. So this is a perfect scenario for Triple T, especially because not only are they on the back, but Albion and Sinful use both ultimates at the end there. So they actually have nothing. It's 1 and 0% the pair of them.
Yeah, that's tough right now. Let's see as we have a look at this replay, buddy. I mean, PC Sacred looking for more, and this is the matchup, right? I mean, did manage to get him pretty weak there, but comes diving straight back in, finds another. That's the difference maker. We say a lot when it comes down to rivals. A lot of the time on domination, it comes down to brilliant plays from brilliant players, and that's exactly what PC Sacred just showed us.
Absolutely, as we do see the fight break out. Mission in the area unlocks in just about 5 seconds as both teams playing for this high ground here. Notably, with both playing dive, there is this off angle where they can try to sneak around. Ooh. The Strangling Prison is invested, but no one goes down yet. But no, it's PC Sacred. The turnaround is here. Is there enough support to get this crew out of danger? Don't think there will be. But Captain Soto with the Meteor M is going to do just enough to push the rest of the team back to keep their co-Vanguard alive.
And as we see coming straight out of the gates, the bookie makes the difference here for Menace. Gonna pull out the strategist ult on the side of Razik. Here comes the Apex Predator from Hex as well. Only just able to find one, although it is a mighty tree in their way. Triple T looking to see if they can get back on this and flip it their way, but no, the picks are in. Silent finds PC Sacred, and now Triple T have to retreat, regroup. And it's not that Hex is going to let them to do it, but as they continue to push through, they've got the bubble from Mag, and they are looking to clean up.
Yeah, they want to not just put pressure on Triple T, but again, they are only at 18%, so they want to try to build up that ultimate as quickly as possible. This is going to be a rough position. They have to back away, respect that damage coming out from Triple T on their rollback out. But Menace are going to start getting ultimates on the board. 4 now in favor, only 2 for Triple T. But Triple T's going to find 2 picks, and that might be a difference maker. Who needs ults when you can just find kills?
Yeah, listen, if you can find the KO before the ults are let loose, what a massive advantage PC Sacred is given Triple T once again. And we see this from him so many times. If he feels that somebody on the opposite team is getting a lot of value out of a pick, he will rotate to it and try and do the exact same. We got the bookie now for Sacred as they look for more. Eli's going to go down though. Sentamoto able to find that one, and it is going to be a bookie off like we've ever seen in this game, buddy. There's an invisible boundary pop. Sotomoto looking to see if they can make an impact into the blind throw, and PC Sacred taken instantly out. Yigi's gone as well, as it looks like Menace are going to be able to flip this back their way.
The invisible barrier, known for its protection, but you know what some teams like to call it? A target-rich environment. Chuck it down there. Someone's going to be there. And that is going to be a massive tide-turning fight as now Menace once again on the front foot. Going to get the advantage in terms of percentage, hitting that 60% threshold. Menace notably uses a lot of ultimates in those last couple skirmishes. So now they are going to be back on the back foot. Hex is about to get the second ultimate for this team, but Triple T has 3, make it 4 with the Strangling Prison. The Glartrox is invested. I don't think it's going to find anything, no. So that is going to be 1 ultimate already used up, pulled out by Triple T.
Oh, okay, that is a very quick response from Razik there. I was saying they're going to have to hold that invisible boundary for as long as they can, not having the opposite strategist all ready to go. And Tim's just going to go with a Venn diagram here as well, as they're going to pull up the other one. Here comes PC Sacred. It's cracking impact time, buddy. Can they find much else off it, though? Eli's going to find Sinful. Sacred, though, struggling at the moment to get that reset. Looking to see if they can find Mag. Shields are through. We've got a Groot hunting them down as well. They're still able to stay on their feet at the moment, forcing Magneto off that rebound. And they do have the advantage on this point here, as Groot is going to be taken down as well. Just the 2 left. This is going to flip back to Triple T.
Done, but not out. 99% Menace have done everything that is necessary, but they have not been able to push Triple T out here. As now Triple T, 55% and climbing. Menace needs to find an angle back in. Sinful with that Kraken's impact could be the answer, but having to respawn is going to be a little bit late to the party. Triple T, mind you, have 2 ultimates to play around, notably the invisible barrier that could completely shut down Sinful if used at the exact right time. High ground is being secured by Menace. I like the play, but because it's taking them so long to secure it, Menace, they are running out of time. Triple T already crossing 80%.
I absolutely love that they're kind of just getting comfortable in this position to shield themselves here. There goes Alex with the invisible boundary. Sinful does have that Raging Royal Flush on them as well as they're looking to pop on in. There goes the Strangling Prison, just trying to throw the damage into this barrier at the moment. There goes the Kraken Impact as well. Oh my lord, Sorin from Saint, from Sinful. They've cleaned up the entirety of Triple T and they flip it back to themselves. And as we always say with Triple T, it's the final moments that they just lack. Menace is going to take game 1.
I said they needed an opening. Sinful might do it if they wait for the opportune time. And my lord, did they find the timing. Falling just short again on map number 1. Triple T push Menace to the limit on domination. I mean, at some point, you just have to look at it and go, what more do they have to do? They were even able to get the portal there and get through the portal, but their feet didn't touch the ground. So overtime didn't begin. You could not have had it any closer.
That's a tough one. That's really, really tough, mate. You are so close to being able to clean that one up. I will say, though, really enjoyed how competitive it was between those two teams, mate. We're coming into this, we were expecting it to be the case. Triple T, they may be 0-4 here on the season, but they have been so incredibly close to getting a couple of wins under their belt, mate. If one thing goes a different way in nearly every game that they've had, they could be top of the league, but they just struggle in those final moments. They usually end up using so many resources that they just don't have an answer to a huge play from the opposition.
Yeah, it really is devastating because again, what's gonna make it even worse is, and I'm not trying to speak this into existence. my desk is made of wood. I will knock on wood. But what makes it so much worse is that again, they keep going to 3 series and they keep having moments like this, and it almost hurts worse to know it was milliseconds that could be the decider of whether or not you're gonna win this 2-0 or if you lose it 3-1. It has to start weighing on them. We need to see not just a bounce back, but signs of life to show that not only are they still like playing the game, but they're still mentally checked in. That has not hit them mentally, and they are still fighting like rabid dogs to get their first win of the league.
Well, listen, they have the opportunity going into this next one at the very least. I really hope that they can take this to a game 3, to be honest. I think we have seen oftentimes certain teams, they favor domination. They struggle on the likes of Convoy with it becoming a moving target. We've seen many struggle in that regard. Typically, Triple T, they go really aggressive on domination, and that usually is where they have a better benefit. But they struggle in the defensive side of the likes of Convergence and Convoy. So it doesn't strike their favor either coming into these next games.
Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing some of the highlights here. Even PC Sacred getting back into the mix onto the Bucky towards the end. There is so much chopping and changing from Menace as well. Triple T could have capitalized on it. There was actually, I don't even know. Did Triple T make any notable changes to their composition? They were just kind of frying from start to finish. They just had, I think the really only adjustment they made was that last second strange swap. They constantly had the Elsa. They constantly had that combination of the Mag and Groot in the front line. Maybe an adjustment would have made a difference, but it's so difficult to tell when the games are that close. I'm excited to see what we get, and I'm intrigued to see whether we're going to get Convoy or Convergence, very frankly. I think that's going to be a big difference maker, because I think, if I remember correctly, they have a tendency of winning their controls, or Convoy, excuse me, not control. They're really good at Convoy, so if this ends up being Convergence first, it could be a little sketchy for Triple T.
Well, what I often end up winning, buddy, is the most comfortable caster in the league award because I'm on the legendary auto full chair. Let me see if I can show you. There it is, that way. There you go. There you go. They are our sponsors here for this season, and they are incredible. They make the best esports gaming chair you have ever seen. It's got a heater in it. It's got aircon in it. It lays down. It's got 360 degrees armrest in it. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of kit, and a humongous shout out to the legends at Autofull for sponsoring us here for the Rivals ENGAGE League, the official Tier 2 EMEA Marvel Rivals League. Buddy, what a joy it is to be here on the mic with you with these amazing sponsors, mate.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to get my hands on one of them because I have one of these generic office chairs from a random online vendor, and man, my AC downstairs went out. It is, I think it's almost 80 degrees in here. I could use a cooling chair that doesn't feel like I'm sitting on wood. I could really use a comfortable chair right now. But we are finally getting into map number 2 here between Menace and Triple T. It is going to be Convoy. There's no museum to be found, though. We're going to the Classic. This was one of the top maps when we were last casting together. Midtown, Tano.
I love Midtown. I'm a big fan of Midtown. I'm glad we're going on to this map. But again, it is Convoy, so this is typically where we see teams struggle on the defensive side, at least down this lower end of the league table right now. Let's see what the bans are going to be. I wouldn't expect them to change too much, although that low-key ban straight out of the gates here from Menace is rather interesting. They seem to let the Gambit through quite a bit on the side of Menace.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely interesting. It's going to be the double Loki ban. I'm actually not too surprised to see that. I think right now teams would prefer to let that Gambit through rather than deal with a Loki, especially a Loki Adam team up. I could even imagine that we see a Triple T Adam Protect here as their last Protect, because it is just so crucial to have that Karmic Revival, especially if you do want to play the bunker composition, which in theory they absolutely could, because instead of having that Loki, you could run the combination of the Ultron. So Ultron, Adam, Penny, maybe a Rocket as your third strategist, and that bunker comp would be absolutely critical. But actually, last ban is going to be a Gambit coming out from Triple T, so we're going to get at least one bit of presence from the Raging Cajun.
I think they kind of need that with the one-sided thing on the side of Menace. It's a lot of responsibility for the duelists on the side of Triple T to have to deal with the thing so much. People are feeling like it's in such a great position at the moment, especially with the Human Torch team up, because boy, does that thing do damage. Let's have a look at where we're going to end up to begin with here, buddy. I would like to see some HUD play, but I think if you're going to use the thing, and maybe not quite that team up, you want a straight standard Vanguard, which is why it looks like possibly the Groot or the Emma was being entertained.
Yeah, ooh. I could absolutely see it. Okay. Okay, in the triple, I don't mind having Thing and Hood. That's a lot of pressure, both in terms of turn pressure and just consistent. Yeah. But I don't know if that combination, I don't think, I say that, I don't think we've really seen that much of this combination. It's still so new. It's only been 5 days since the character was released. But I feel like that might be a little bit risky. You're putting a lot of faith that your strategists are going to be able to put 2 super aggressive Vanguards in a good enough position in terms of healing to stay alive. I mean, typically what we get for triple Vanguards is we get, you know, the Groot, because the Groot is probably one of the best overall characters, especially on Convoy. But then you get one more brawly character. Sometimes it's the Emma. Most of the time it's like the Thing or the Venom. And then you have like the pure shielding Vanguard in that Magneto. So it's a pretty much forego I guess they do have a Groot, so I guess it would be foregoing the shield here would be a little interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, it really would. I mean, they don't have that much on the side of Triple T either. They do have the Emma at least on the side of Soto, but Sinfield's going to play on the top side here with this Magneto, trying to see if they can find a pick themselves. And I got to admit, I don't know if you played much of the HUD, buddy, but it is a ridiculously fun Vanguard to play.
I have not gotten the privilege. I've been studying too much, but I have been seeing a lot of him, and he does look like a joy to have, as we do see Eli does fall early. They are running out with this siege composition, or anti-siege composition, just trying to burst through, but the Punisher gets punished before getting revived back, as this is practically a full bunker composition, even without the Penny, who has taken a few hits in terms of nerfs. But Eli, off the BRB, is going to find two. Silent is going to be brought back, but Eli continues to be a menace. And they are going to just mow down the entirety of this defense.
Love that. Eli said, hey, I've got an 8-shot with something to say about you trying to hold this corner, my guy. Shotgun in their face, and that makes the difference. And that is the difficulty of being at that corner and trying to hold it. You are so close that it makes it incredibly easy for the likes of the Punisher to go in and make that difference. Now let's see if the Final Judgment can do the same here as they try and push around this corner. Going to sit behind the bus, ready to go on the side of Menace. We also have those fireworks coming out from the Jubilee. Is it going to make the difference here? They managed to stay away from the Final Judgment, but the Amplifier is going to go on in as well. They have not found any KOs just yet as they continue to push it out. There goes Punisher, and they do manage to find more on the back of Razak as they clean up Triple T here, but they're going to follow up the Psionic Seduction from Captain Soto, trying to hope that that will keep Menace away from this, but no, a dive in from Sinful. They were looking for the Eye of Agamotto, but they didn't have it. They try and get down, they can't connect, and that is going to be a huge defense from Menace, though, as they push Triple T back.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And I do really like this Razak pick onto the Jubilee. Jubilee does such good job at holding space. Her bubbles are able to punish anyone who tries to push through. And you can see it right there, put it right at the edge of the door. So the fastest way back to point becomes a no-win situation where either you have to walk around it and waste more time, or you have to walk through it, deal or take a lot of damage, and then build up the charge for a possible explosion, as we do see the Demon of the End come through and a sweep come out from Menace, who continues to hold the line.
Bro, there's so much action going on here that things are going a little bit blurry from me. It is insane from both of these two teams as Triple T are desperately trying to hold this. A stall on the side of Soto here is so detrimental, as well as they're going to have to wait to realistically regroup with their Vanguards. Looking for that off angle is going to be PC Sacred. They're there on the Wolverine, buddy, trying to find any Vanguard they can get their claws into.
Okay, and here comes the next rollout. Everyone is in attendance. I do like to swap onto the Wolverine. It could do big numbers against these Vanguards. Doctor Strange finds one, but gets pulled away by that Wolverine and is going to be melted down. This is the value from the Wolf, but notably has to pop that health pack just to stay in the fight. The Final Judgment from Eli is going to force back the entirety of Menace, but that's a huge strangling prison. And then the wall to deny the healing. That's going to be Razak's double to put on the scoreboard as Menace are down too early, or excuse me, Triple T are down too early. But that's our huge last stand as they find a triple off the back of it.
I absolutely love that. PC Sacred saying, you think you're winning this, bub? Absolutely not. Triple T now, they have the moment to push this in. Sinful's going to see if they can get there with a portal. I'm not sure where they're at positioning-wise. Yes, they are ready to go with it, buddy. We'll have to see if that works, because right now we're going to see the beauty of PC Sacred once again. And that last stand, bro, he opens up the door for an easy cap. They want to clip that, throw that on social media.
Okay, clip it and ship it, boys, as we get back to the action. Point number 2 has begun. Right now, doing a pretty good job to hold the line here is Menace, as they are playing super aggressive. That CYA was popped there by Menace as well, just to retake this space. So they're going to try to hold the choke point, but fortunately, there's a CYA on their own side for Triple T, and they're going to use that as the go button. Slam down Sinful, who's still on the Strange. Can they find anything value for more?
That's a lot of ultimates to use, a lot of resources to throw at this so early on, as the spawn room is just there, but they're going to go for it. Not too far off the Demon of the End on the side of Yig, and that definitely could make a difference here, because right now this is just a clean hold from Menace, with no one putting some pressure on that back line, and that's exactly what we see Yig go for here, but they get completely pulled out of it there, Sorin. Absolutely no return for Triple T as they struggle. They do manage to find Sinful, but still Sacred can't find the KO. Silent falls. Sinful's trying to stay up with this shield here, has Sacred in their face, left, right, and center, but they are still managing to get back on this defense.
Okay, Triple T pushing through, and that's Saint going down. Eye of Agamotto to the back line. It finds 3, and they get eviscerated as the push is shut down summarily, and there is nothing Triple T can do about it.
That was absolute filth, Sinful. What a brilliant Eye of Agamotto. Just not a position that you want to be in if you're Triple T. You had no choice. You have to continue to push that cart. Brilliant targeting on that positioning. And let's see if they're going to be able to get back on this. Silent here on the Angela, looking to see if they can at least show face. See where the position is of those strategists as they look to go round. We see PC Sacred looking to go hunting at the moment, but Isainomoto has got vision on them, pulls the attention of the Angela here, and they've got a final judgment in their backline. They've got to worry about Eli, looking to see if they can find Silent, and they do, but they need more here to get capitalization off this. Albion's going to back on up, Silent straight back in with the BRB, and Heaven's Retribution is let loose, and they get pumped full of lead at the meantime, buddy. Not a lot more that they can do. Great defense from Menace. Triple T were finally a couple of picks there, but it wasn't enough, mate.
Time to switch things.
They hold the line, and now it's Triple T's time to try to do the same. They are held at just about 1.5 points. Notably, that is one of the more notorious spots to get held. So, yeah, they already pushed through probably 2 of the more difficult ones in the process throughout that first round. So they at least are going to have a good amount of time and some good spots to try to put a stop to Menace, especially if they play around ultimates incredibly well. Because I feel like both teams, Tano, were kind of throwing ultimates a little bit willy-nilly at times. They were just trucking them to try to turn even small skirmishes into their favor rather than trying to use them for the most opportune times. But Menace, they have plans as well. They have the Punisher coming through. Hex going to be operating the man from New York. But they do have Sinful on the Storm, and this is where I think a lot of the value is going to get. That 8% constant damage amp is going to be crucial as we see a replay of that absolutely filthy Eye of Agamotto from Sinful.
It just doesn't get any better than that, mate. One of the most beautiful Eye of Agamottos we get to witness here in this league, and it is working for them at the moment. So now Triple T are going to have to go on that defensive side of things, one that they do sometimes struggle with as we come straight out of the gate. Sinful here on that Storm, as you mentioned, looking for that hit scan. I do really like the play of Storm straight out of the gates here on Midtown.
Yeah, absolutely. Some teams like to play with the Wolf or the Bucky, which have some really good turn pressure, but that 8% damage boost is just on 24/7. So every single member of Menace is pretty much firing at 8% more capacity. But notably, they try to go for the bunker composition, but Menace forced them so far back that they're able to walk by. Now the map is flipped, and they're able to find 2 picks. So Menace is going to be in a little bit of a awkward position as they try to get back to safety, but they have to walk through their opponents to do so.
It went so ridiculously well with that speed up that they just went straight past where the bunker comp usually works, and all of a sudden Triple T are the ones that are on the offense. That was great work from Menace. They are able now to regroup, and so long as this cart doesn't go too far back, they're in a pretty comfortable position. It's just an easy corridor here to throw down mega damage on the side of Hex, and that's exactly what they're going to do. With the Vanguard in their face, there's nothing Triple T can do but fall, my guy. Looking for it again is Hex, and yeah, that's an absolute cleanup of Triple T.
I look out for the little guys.
Alrighty, Triple T have to roll back out. I'm intrigued to see if we get a portal play. He is on the Strange. Okay, much like their opponents are going to use that portal early, the invisible barrier immediately popped to try to disable any rollout, and it is not going to work as Captain Soda and Yigi find 1 apiece. Meteor M is going to be activated, looking for a target. Don't think they're going to find anything, but the Kraken's impact to wait for when they land is also not going to find the pick, and that is going to be 2 ultimates for nothing on either side.
Sinful looking for the pick here, isn't able to find it, but that is going to connect. Albion and Razik taking out both strategists on the side of Captain Soto, and then finding more. The legend of the mutants cleaning up here, buddy, and that is exactly what they needed. Menace was building a little bit of momentum onto their side there, but Captain Soto is going to flip that straight to Triple T.
Yeah, now Triple T have the opportunity. They do have 3 ultimates to work with, but they're a little bit behind in that regard, even though they have the 3, as it's 4 for Menace. The CYA plus the final judgment at 40% damage boost onto the ultimate. Just shreds everyone, and then the Karmic Revival into the ult. Sinful blows them all away with the tornado, and that is so much damage. Clip it, ship it, put it on the reel.
Oh my days, bro. The read from Sinful to know that that Karmic Revival was coming through. A Mega Hurricane cleans on up, and they're also looking for more here as well, as Triple T are going to have to reel back from that. Look at the momentum. Menace have been able to guide themselves now. Good recognition from Sainamoto there, knowing that Venom was going to dive onto that payload. You got to go back there and handle it. In the meantime, though, we're going to continue to push up on the side of Menace. This could be a little bit risky. They don't have that backup that they need.
Relay deployed.
No, they do not. Triple T having to roll out all the way back from point 2 spawn as well, which means it's a little bit of a hike to get back to the point. And mind you, they're already almost at the finish line. Triple T need to find an angle to force their way through. The Venom might be able to get the touch, though.
Oh, okay. This is the Meteor M coming on down from Sainamoto. Not able to find anything with it, though. They were trying to be quick to find the bookie, but Eli's got themselves in a good position now as they're ready with a Kraken impact, making the difference, looking for the resets, but they've got a Venom all around them in the meantime as well. Sinful back in here looking to find the picks, and Triple T aren't quite being able to find the defense that they were looking for here. It is right on that mark as Sinful is able to keep themselves alive, playing low down at this payload at the moment, and it looks like this is going to be it. Nobody from Triple T trying to see if they can get onto it. Only Venom able to do so here on the side of Soto, but the rips come through, and that is going to be all she wrote for this one, buddy, as Menace are going to be able to take this.
Another game, another series where we're looking at Triple T saying it was so close, but Menace close it out. They have that X factor to take the domination, and Razak finding MVP on both maps. Can't say it's not earned. So much healing. And I mean, just incredible gameplay. I must say, Tato, very frankly, the CYA into the final judgment to get a full wipe, forced out the Karmic Revival just to pop the Storm ultimate. The Omega Hurricane might be the best, might be the most Marvel Rivals sequence of Marvel Rivals you could physically get, and we saw it play out perfectly.
Bro, I saw that happen, and I was like, you can bet that when we do this league again, that is going to be used in the advertisement trailer. It's just got to. That and the Eye of Agamotto, 2 brilliant moments in this set. But yeah, again, Triple T just struggling in those moments where really they should be able to find their picks, have an answer. I think one thing that they've got to look at, because I genuinely really enjoy that team, Soren. I think they've got some fantastic players. I think they just need to look at their resource management with their team synergy as well, because I think that is where they fall. They don't always have an answer to what the other team is going to bring them. And we know 90% of Marvel Rivals is having some sort of answer to the ultimates coming your way.
Yeah, I mean, I even mentioned it, and we talked about it a little bit, that it really did feel like at times they were just throwing ultimates to throw ultimates. There were so many times where one ultimate was traded for another, and nothing came from either of them, or during like small skirmishes. That CYA right at the entrance to point number 2 in that chokehold. I remember being like, oh, they popped a CYA just to hold the choke. But their opponents have a CYA, so they lose the choke 5 seconds later. It just really seemed like there was a little bit of mismanagement from both sides, but unfortunately Menace a little bit more coordination, and it gives them that edge to get over the line.
It does. And listen, Menace have a lot of experience as a team. Me and you have casted them for their own league on the grassroots for a while now. So they have that experience behind them. But Triple T, they just need a little bit more to get there. It's so sad because they are such a fun team. PC Sacred is brilliant. But, you know, just to see them fall at that final moment time and time again, Soren, it's genuinely upsetting for us, never mind for the players.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the kind of team that won their actual score line. Their series count does not tell the full story, but also a lot of, very frankly, obviously not the case here. I think every team in this league is absolutely amazing, but there are some leagues where you watch a game and it's, one of the top of the table versus the bottom, and you go, okay, you could skip this one. This one's going to be a wash. You can't say that here because even the 0-4 Triple T make absolute magic happen and have games that are so fun to watch. It's not just a throwaway game because they could turn it on at any moment. And even if they don't win, they make it entertaining to watch.
They do. Well, listen, we are going to head for a quick break now, chat, while we get the next, I think it's the final set of today, ready to go. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, but don't worry, we will be right back.